Welcome back to the show, folks. This is the wrap-up, your daily dose of pop culture and movie news, hosted by me, Mr. H Reviews. On today's show, it's going to be a much more relaxed one. It's what we do at the weekends. So we've got two topics for you. We've got Red Sonja going back to the drawing board and being rewritten and directed by Jill Soloway. Of course, this comes off the back of Bryan Singer being ejected and thrown in the garbage because he had some nasty things thrown out about him earlier this year, kind of tail end of last year. We also have clear-cut confirmation now that Venom 2 will happen, so we'll dip dive into that article, and then we'll get some time for some viewer questions. Like I say, much more relaxed here on the weekends, much more informal. If you do want to skip right ahead to anything that I have mentioned, though, there will be timestamps down below in the description box and in a pinned comment. Some of you may know I was up super late last night because I released the video super late, but it was my Child's Play remake review. If you want to check that out, there'll be a link to that down below in the description box. But spoiler alert, it was good. I actually really enjoyed it. So let's get right into it, okay? Transparent creator Jill Soloway to write and direct Red Sonja. Now, this is an exclusive to Deadline, okay? For anyone that doesn't know Red Sonja, the clue is in that little image there. She is the she-devil with a sword. It's a female version of Conan the Barbarian. Very bombastic, wears essentially nothing, and goes around killing people. So, obviously Bryan Singer wasn't the best choice for that, potentially. And obviously he got dropped from it because of everything that had happened. All of the accusations that were thrown out. Obviously, I don't know if they've been confirmed to be true yet, but it is what it is. That's the world we live in. So, exclusive. Millennium Films has set transparent creator Jill Soloway to write and direct Red Sonja, a film that went back to the drawing board earlier this year after Bryan Singer was dropped as director. Now, the interesting part of this is obviously they say Soloway is coming in with a bold new take and gives the film much better optics that already has studios approaching Millennium. Now, I don't think that's the reason why. I think Jill Soloway is part of it, but then the second part here, Soloway's Topple Productions partner, Andrea Spielberg, is also coming on board as a producer. Now, unfortunately, I've got to say it, this is probably why studios are much more excited about this project. We live in a world now where everyone is hyper on edge about agendas and how things will be perceived, inclusiveness, all this kind of stuff, and that's fine. I appreciate that's the world that we live in. But the reason why studios are much more keen to approach Millennium is because, one, it's Red Sonja, but it has a woman director behind it and a female production team as well. So that's why. It will give studios much more confidence. And look, that's me just reading between the lines. If you think any different, that's fine. I doubt that is the case. I genuinely would say that this is the reason why studios are much more inclined to get behind this project. But look, that's just my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours, so drop them down below. Now, there was a statement from Soloway. She says, "I can't wait to bring Red Sonja's epic world to life. Exploring this powerful mythology and evolving what it means to be a heroine is an artistic dream come true." That's PR spin. Who cares? Basically, is the truth. Now, it is the first deal for Soloway since directing the Transparent movie musical finale that this fall will wrap Soloway's groundbreaking Amazon series creation. Jesus Christ. That is a tongue twister and a half, isn't it? Casting will start anew for an actress to play Red Sonja, who originated as a comic book heroine in the 1970s and has appeared in hundreds of comics over the decades, with Dynamite Entertainment still publishing them today. It will be the second film treatment for the character, following the 1985 actioner that starred Bridget Nielsen and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, obviously, there's a little bit more information about the finance behind this film. So Millennium Media will finance, and Millennium Films will produce with Topple. Now, again, Topple is Soloway's production company, but also the production partner is Andrea Spielberg. So that's important things to note here. Now, the rights holder Luke Lieberman will be an executive producer, or Lieberman. So that's good. Good that the the rights holder is actively involved as well. Hopefully that pushes it on to something that will be worth our time. Now, it says that Topple is ramping up its movie efforts, and since Red Sonja has to be scripted, cast, and prepped, it is likely that Soloway will direct something before it. So don't expect this anytime soon. this isn't coming out anytime soon. It hasn't been written yet. It'll just be interesting to see how this turns out, to be perfectly honest. Now, it says Millennium has been trying to revive Red Sonja for at least a decade, coming closest with a version where Robert Rodriguez was going to direct Rose McGowan in the role. Now, a Robert Rodriguez Red Sonja would be great. He does bombastic fantastically well. Now, it says the project came back around after the success of Wonder Woman demonstrated that the potential for female-driven superhero movies were there. It was always the case anyway. I don't think we needed Wonder Woman to prove that, but fine. While Millennium's action and genre slates have had mostly men at the helm, the company has made an emphasis on becoming more inclusive in hiring filmmakers. It recently set Tanya Wexler to direct Kate Beckinsale in the action thriller Jolt. That didn't really do very well, did it? Look, I think this is good. You know, it's not going to be any worse than what Bryan Singer was going to do, is it, at the end of the day? So, hand on over to you. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comment section. Now, let's move on to, unfortunately, a Fandango article. I know. But hey, look, this is Fandango. So, there were some interesting snippets in this. Okay, now Fandango spoke exclusively to producer Amy Pascal, famous producer with Sony, generally speaking, who's played an integral role in all of these projects. Now, this is to do with Spider-Man, Venom, any of the Spider-Man stuff. According to Pascal, the key to all three ongoing franchises being successful rests in the idea that each individual movie stands on its own. It doesn't take an Einstein to figure that out, for goodness sake. It did take them The Amazing Spider-Man to figure that out, because that movie was a bomb. She continued that the key thing to Venom, to Tom Holland, Spider-Man, Spider-Verse, is that as wonderful and as tempting as it is to connect the dots, nothing works if the individual movies don't work and have their own integrity. And that is the key to it all. I agree. It's just a shame it took you so long to figure that out. Now, the interesting part here is to do with Venom 2. Now, Pascal recently struck a first-look deal with Universal, but she's still very much involved in the next installments of each of these respective franchises. 100% completely, she noted when asked how involved she'd be. So she's 100% involved. Now, she runs quite a long history of not being very good at these things, so that's not particularly good news. Would be preferable to have Kevin Feige involved, because his track record is proven, but never mind. She noted when asked how involved she'd be, so with regards to Venom 2, Pascal confirmed it is indeed happening. I can say that Tom Hardy will be back, magnificently playing that character as no one else can. On what attributed to the wild success of Venom, because obviously it made a bucket load of money, this would be interesting to hear her thoughts. It's a couple of things. One of them is that Sony did a great job creating that franchise and giving it a life and giving it its own world. Then there's Tom Hardy. When you think of Venom, you'll never be able to think of anyone but Tom Hardy sitting in that bathtub of lobsters. And once you saw Tom Hardy do his character, that's all you needed to know. Yeah, maybe. I think Tom Hardy was the biggest draw. It's definitely got nothing to do with Sony in terms of the franchise and stuff like that. It was fine. Like, it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it, but it's not groundbreaking, is it? Of course, we asked Pascal whether we'll see Spider-Man and Venom back together on the big screen, to which she replied, everybody would love to see that. You never know, someday it might happen. And this comes off the heels of Kevin Feige saying it's actually just it's literally all down to Sony. They can do what they want with the property. So I hand on over to you. What do you think? You excited for any of these projects? Let me know down below in the comment section. Now, what we do here on the Daily Show, if you are new anyway, is we have some time for some viewer questions. So I'm going to dip in the mailbag, see what we've got today. And if you want to have your viewer questions answered on the show, then please do email them to me, mistakesreviews@gmail.com, using the subject line, The Wrap Up. And hopefully we'll have time to get to your viewer questions. So let's dip in the mailbag and see what we've got. So, Jose emailed in. Thank you so much for your email, Jose. And he asked, what actors do you see as action actors that are not on the Expendables? I mean, old school 80s, 90s stars, like I think of him and I think action movie. And a second question, should Disney do a Marvel Max line of movies where they can really use some characters like Deadpool, Wolverine, Punisher, Logan style movies? So, 80s, 90s stars. I don't know, actually. I think they're all pretty much there. There's very few people now that, you know, I can look at and go, yes, that's an 80s, 90s action star. I think they are all really there now. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone else that I would say is definitely just an 80s, 90s stars that say like not in the Expendables. And if they're not in the Expendables, not that that's a gauge for them being any good, but most of them have fallen into obscurity anyway. So I'd say they pretty much rounded it up. But I'd love to hear yours, because obviously you threw out this question, but you never answered it. So I'd love to hear your answer to this, and everyone else. Old school 80s, 90s stars, action stars that are, say, not in the Expendables. Let me know. Now, to answer the second question, should Disney do a Marvel Max line of movies where they can utilize Deadpool, Wolverine, all in like a Logan-style movie? I don't think so, because I think it's best just to keep it completely separate, and they've already confirmed they're going to be doing that with Deadpool anyway. So, with a bit of a chance, we'll see something similar to that with Wolverine. I know he's a popular character, so they will definitely put him in the MCU, but it'd be nice to see him do some spin-offs here and there, I guess. But no, I don't think so. I don't think so. But I hand it on over to you. What do you guys think? Do you think that'd be a good idea or a bad idea? Or do you think they should keep it separate? Let me know down below in the comments section. Now, Dante emailed him, said, "Hello, Mr. H. I'm a fan viewer. Thanks. This is my second email, as there was some errors in the first one, apparently, so we'll breeze over that. But I'm a fan from the US. I've watched your videos for over a year or two now. And he's given his Instagram, which is Kaiju Fan. I do photos of my Godzilla figures. My setup is limited, but I hope you enjoy. I'll check them out. Question 1. What Toho Kaiju would you love to see make an appearance in the Monsterverse? Or what original Titan concept would you like to see? I'd really, really, really like to see the Titan, the giant space chicken. I know it sounds dumb, but there was even some concept art. I don't know if I can find it. I could probably try and find it now. But there was some concept art in the Art of book. I won't be able to find it. But basically, there was some concept art in that book. And it looked great. It was very organic looking. So it wasn't mechanized or anything like that. It had horns. And I just thought it looked great. I genuinely thought that it looked great. So yeah, I would love to see Gigan in the Monsterverse. I think they did a great version of it, and it's a shame that we never got to see it, but I'd love to see Gigan. And in terms of what original Titan concept you'd like to see, I don't know really. Their concept design for the Kraken looked quite interesting, so maybe the Kraken. I'd like to see a take on the Loch Ness Monster. I think that would be interesting. But I guess that's kind of it really. What do you guys think? What Toho Titan would you like to see? Or Toho Kaiju? Gigan, maybe. What about the Mecha Godzillas and Mecha King Ghidorahs? Because a lot of people have mentioned them. They seem to be very, very popular, even though I think that maybe it's a step too far to the unrealistic for the universe. But I hand it on over to you. What do you think? Now, he did ask a second question. How do you feel about Toho doing a cinematic universe with their own characters, such as Godzilla, in post-2020? They were supposed to be doing that, but we've heard nothing about it. So I think realistically they're waiting for these movies to figure out whether they're just going to extend the license back to Legendary or not. But that was the case. That genuinely was the case. And he asked, whether I'm confident in their abilities to produce, a grand scale. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. They're investing heavily in Western movie kind of production and stuff like that at the moment. There's big partnerships with Warner Bros. And Legendary currently. So they were even part of the Detective Pikachu movie, believe it or not. So there's a lot going on with Toho at the moment, but I don't know. They were going to. Don't know anymore, but yeah. Now, okay, question 3 says this one's optional. What do you think of the Monsterverse will do post-Godzilla vs. Kong? I don't know. And that kind of leads into your last question, because he said, do you think it will die out or go back to Toho and things like this? I just think it's all to do with money. I genuinely think it's all to do with money. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And, I can appreciate that. Okay, so moving on. We've got one more question for today. M emailed in and he said, who do you think would be the best replacement for Wolverine in the upcoming X-Men Disney reboot? Great question. Controversial question. A lot of people would say Tom Hardy. A lot of people would say Tom Hardy. And I would agree to a certain degree, I guess. I don't know really. There's even who's the chap that's in Death Stranding and in The Walking Dead. I can't remember the guy's The actor's name. Let me have a look. So we're just going to do a quick... Again, this is super relaxed here on the weekend. So, Death Stranding. Okay. It is... It's not even there. God damn it. Death Stranding. Actors. There we go. Norman Reedus. He might be good. I don't know really. I know a lot of people will scoff at that, but I'm throwing out actors which I just think would be left field and potentially good. Because the thing is if you just go for actors that you think like straight off the bat would be good for it, 9 times out of 10 there's a better one out there that will do a better job who are a little bit left field. I think Norman Reedus has the voice, that kind of craggly... I mean, it's an off-center voice, isn't it? So, I think he'd be good. And I know it's real left field, but I genuinely think he would be good. But I hand on over to you. What do you guys think? I doubt anyone would have thought Norman Reedus, and I'm sure no one would agree with me either. But I hand on over to you. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Like I said, at the start, if you're new here, hit subscribe. Step to date on this, the daily dose of pop culture and movie news. That wraps it up here for me today. I've got nothing else to talk about. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like and a share. I've Mr. H. Take care.